All right, Coach. Well, good to talk to you. I know it's been a unprecedented type of year and a crazy time right now for you, as we were talking about off camera a little bit. Just just waiting to get started, kind of in pause mode right now. And just tell me kind of what challenges that's presented to you and your coaching staff, just being such unforeseen circumstances.
I felt like we had a lot of momentum after last year. I really did. I thought we had a season that a lot of people, including some people within our own program, didn't anticipate we were going to have. And so I thought that was a big thing, is we felt like we had a lot of positives coming back, a lot of stuff really moving our way, and then we had some really good young kids coming in. So we were excited to get started, and then when that got shut down, in March, and our open gyms kind of slowed down, and we weren't allowed to get together. I felt like we might have lost a little bit of momentum. So we knew we were going to have some young kids doing some things. We knew we had a lot of good positive kids coming back with a lot of experience, but still getting that chemistry right is something that every coach struggles with a little bit. And when you find it, and we felt like we had that last year, and we knew we had some things coming in. So just getting that chemistry back with a new core of people playing together is probably going to be our biggest challenge.
Yeah, last year I obviously wasn't around here. I covered you guys 2 years ago, but last year, I was talking to Joe a little bit about it, and he said you guys played, up and played your best games against the teams above you in the section standings. Tell me how much you guys are trying to build off that coming into this year when it finally does get started.
Our kids are playing more confidently now. I think they believe in themselves now. The kids believe in themselves, and they believe in each other. And when it's a team game like this, those kids, when they really start to believe and they play for one another instead of with one another, it's a completely different culture. And those kids play for one another in the gym, and we're going to continue to build on that. And we had a lot of kids work really hard in the off season on their own. Because of the success that we had, we felt like those kids really, took it to another level on their own. Some of our kids really improved that got some minutes last year. And then I know our younger kids coming in, they work very hard, and they're a pretty talented group as well. So our plan is to just, again, find that chemistry, change our style a little bit, because I think we can go a lot deeper than we have in the past. We have a lot of kids, I think, that can get some minutes, and, their confidence is there. So the idea is, now as a group of coaches, we got to make sure that we feed on that confidence, build off of that confidence, and I don't think we're going to be able to sneak up on a lot of people this year. I think people know what we're about. I think people are expecting us to be a better basketball team than they expected us to be last year.
Right. Speaking about working on your own, I mean, that's kind of where all these kids are right now. They have to do work on their own. What kind of a challenge is that for you right now? I mean, I'm pretty sure you can only probably do Zoom calls and meetings like that with your team. How is it for you guys to keep those kids motivated to work on their own?
A lot of those kids really are just self-motivated. We did a few things in the summer, early with some Google Meets and things like that. But a lot of those kids just worked. We did some goal setting, through those kind of meetings and things like that. But these kids, a lot of them did get out, and they did have some sort of an AAU season. A lot of kids did some driveway work on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And player-led teams are the best kind of teams, and those are the most successful teams. And a lot of these kids took it upon themselves to really put an effort out there and get better. And those kids, the self-motivated kids, and the ones who went out there on their own to get a lot better, it showed in our open gyms when we had the opportunity to get in. We didn't get a lot of game time this summer. I think we only played twice, but we did get a significant amount of workouts in when we were allowed to, from that July 1st window through mid-August, and then when we were started up again at the beginning of October. We got a significant amount of workouts in, and I think a lot of those kids that were self-motivated, it showed in their efforts in the off season. It showed today, not today, obviously, but recently. I wish today.
Hey, that's your mentality. You want to be in the gym today right now. As I'm sure, you said your team's self-motivated. Obviously, they want to be in the gym right now too.
Yeah, our practice time slot is every day 2:45 to 5. Well, beginning of the year, it's 2:45 to 5:30. So we'd be in there right now if we were allowed to be. And I know a lot of kids are itching to really get in. I know that there was a lot of disappointment when the decision was made, for the health and safety of the community. Not just the kids themselves, but the community, to shut down for a period of time. And I know there was some disappointment, some understanding from our kids because they understand what this pandemic has brought to the community and the world, for that matter. But I also think that I know there was a lot of disappointment. These kids want to get going. These kids want to play basketball. They're excited about the team that we have and the opportunities that face us here.
Yeah, obviously a winning season a year ago, playoff team a year ago, and you said you're going to be working with a new core this year. Can you kind of break down your established starters right now for me and maybe what spots are open?
Wow, that's crazy because, we have 4 returning starters, with Shea Clark, an all-section, first-team all-section player. Just had an exceptional year, running the show for us last year. Losing Jalen Caliper was huge. She had one of the best senior years, unexpected too. I mean, we expected her to be good. We didn't expect her to be as good as she was last year. She had a great senior year, one of the best I've ever had as a coach in terms of leadership and in terms of how she just took the team and said, I'll do what I need to do. Just do your thing. So losing her is significant, but we have Olivia Yancey back. She was a freshman starter for us last year. She really worked hard on her game, got some time in this summer. Miller, who's a quality defender for us, and she has the ability to score the basketball. And Olivia Pock are coming back as they were 4 starters last year. But what we really have this year is challenges for those spots. We've got some freshmen coming in, that are really good. We have 4 freshmen that we think can contribute. Aubrey Burns was our 6th man last year. She worked tremendously hard on shooting the basketball, and she has really been shooting it very well in the open gyms we had. So we feel like we've got the ability to shoot the basketball this year better because of what these kids put in. Olivia Pock really worked hard on shooting the basketball, and then we have a freshman coming in. Emma Paul is as good of a freshman as I've ever had. And then we've got Kyla Fitzgerald is a 6-foot freshman who is very athletic and moves well. Sarai Weaver is another freshman, about 5'10". She's very strong and is doing a solid job for us. And we got Jenna Klontz, who's a sophomore, returning as well. And that's just a core group of those kids. And then we have some some seniors who you haven't seen in the varsity ledger much. That what they provide at practice in their leadership. Sophia Dobransky's improved her game tremendously. She's another 5'9", 5'10" girl we can get some minutes out of. And then Quinn Miller and Lydia Lucas have been in the program, since elementary school. And they bring a lot to the table in terms of how they practice, the quiet leadership that they have. And I think you put all those things together, we have a significant amount of kids that can get some time. Really it's a great problem to have right now as coaches, is that even though you have 4 returning starters, we don't know who our first 5 are going to be. We know that we can play different styles with different groups of 5. It's just going to be a matter of establishing how we want to go and what fits that game the best. So I think we've got a lot of opportunities to play basketball a lot of different ways, which is something new. We haven't had that opportunity here at Armstrong in our first 5 years.
Yeah, Coach, I've told you this many times. A great coach always leads a reporter into his next question, and he did it right there. Has this the deepest team that you've ever had at Armstrong?
Clearly, not even close. We honestly feel like we have 9 or 10 legitimate varsity basketball players. And if we had to, we're comfortable going down to even 11, 12, 13, as long as the right 4 or 5 are in, or right 3 or 4 are in with those, those other 2. Mm-hmm. We're not as comfortable if you're in the game with 9 through 13, but we feel like our 13th player can play with our top 3, 4, even 6, 7 kids. But we're really deep in terms that we have size this year. We have legitimately four bigs that we feel like we can rotate between Klontz, Fitzgerald, Weaver, and Dobransky. We feel like we can rotate those. We haven't had that luxury. Last year we played most of the year with 5 guards. Jay Caliper went from our point guard her junior year to our post. She was our big last year. So we basically went out and played that way. So some of the kids we have back can play. They can play outside. We can play fast. We can play, 5 guards. But now we have the luxury of being able to match up with some of those teams that have those 6-footers a little better. And not to take anything away from what Caliper and Liv Pak, especially at 5'5" last year, guarding those 6-foot girls.
Yeah.
She had to do it last year, and she did a phenomenal job at doing it. But it's nice to have an opportunity to say to her, hey, we're going to play in the position that you grew up in this year. We're actually going to play at a guard. And, so she's more comfortable with that role. But she's also comfortable saying, Coach, if you need me to go back down there, I'll do what I need to do for the team to be successful, as she did last year as well.
You mentioned Jalen Caliper a couple of times, departed obviously due to graduation. And Shea Clark has always kind of struck me as more of a leader on the court, kind of a lead by example, not really a vocal leader. Where do you think that leadership, that is going to come from this year with the departure of Jalen?
You know what? It's Shea. She I think allowed Jalen to be that leader. Just as it was sort of Jay's group. It was her senior year, and when the other senior got hurt, she did lead by example, Shea. But Shea's very vocal. She's very positive with the kids in the open gyms that we've had. We've had the opportunity to get in, and she is a motivator, and she allows us to do so many different things with the way she defends, and like you said, she leads by how she plays. But she's also been very vocal in our workouts and talking to our kids and making sure that everybody's staying up and putting their best efforts in to every single drill. They know that we expect 100% out of every drill. And one thing I will tell you, Shea knows, is if we practice every drill hard, we don't do a ton of the old basketball sprints like you and I did back in the day. There aren't a lot of pro sprints or wildcats, as we called them back then, if the kids work hard in their drills. So Shea don't like to do those things. So she definitely is making sure every kid is working hard in every drill. So she's going to be the leader. But I will tell you, those other senior leaders we have, you don't hear their names much, but how they practice and what they bring to the table just sets an example of program type kids that you want to have around. I said about Quinn Miller, she's quiet. She just busts her butt every day in practice and works. And Lydia Lucas coming off an ACL tear. The poor girl's had a couple in her career. She's coming back, but she just busts her butt in practice. And Sophia Dobransky, I had to make a phone call the first day 8th grade basketball to get her out. She didn't play until 8th grade. And the way she's improved, that leadership it says a lot for those younger kids to see. And, these kids are committed to the program, and we're real proud of those kids for what they brought. So I think we've got some good leadership in terms of not only the leading by example, but also, Shea's got enough experience now that she can call some shots out there for us as well.
Now, I wanted to ask you about some of those freshmen that you mentioned earlier, specifically Emma Paul. I know we've spoken about her, and you just said in this interview, she's one of the best freshmen, if not the best freshman you've ever had. Just kind of talk about her and what you kind of expect out of her. I know it's tough to put big expectations on a freshman. Do you think she's ready to handle it? Just kind of what do you guys expect out of her?
Yeah, I expect her to be able to handle it. I mean, she's a basketball player. You have a lot of kids who are good basketball players, and then you have kids that are natural basketball players, and then you have kids that are good basketball players that are also natural basketball players, and she fits that mold. She shoots the ball incredibly well. We expect her to be one of our top scorers this year. We expect her to carry a load for us offensively. She does a lot of things well. She not only can she score, but she makes the right pass. She always finds the open girl. She's very unselfish with her play. If the next pass is the best pass, she's going to make the next pass. So we really have a long-term expectation of how good she can be, but she is definitely she's definitely going to be one of our go-tos this year for sure. And we expect her to do some big time scoring for us this year and years beyond.
Now, one thing I've always respected about your coaching style is, your preparation. Just tell me a little bit, break the section down top to bottom, what you think you're looking at this year.
I'll tell you what, everybody's good. I mean, we lost Gateway and Franklin, and Gateway I thought was going to be down a little bit, but they're going to be good. Curtis does such a good job down there, and Franklin Regional had everybody back. But we get Indiana, who is as good as they've been in years, and Fox Chapel as well came down from 6A, and they're going to be excellent. Plum has Kennedy Montu back. I expect them to be very, very competitive. One of the top teams in the section. And Hampton returns everybody, and they've got a freshman that they have high regard for as well, and they got a 5'11" transfer from North Al. So I expect them to be very good. And then what Dana does at Mars year in and year out is exceptional. So you can never count them out as well. So we've got 7 teams in our section, and Nick down at Kiski has done a good job of making sure that program gets better and better every year. So there is no easy night in our league. I believe we're going to be competitive with everybody. I think that one of the things that we have to really work hard as a group of coaches is that there's nobody on our schedule that can't beat us. But I also don't believe that there's not anybody we can't compete with. So I believe that if our kids continue to buy in, and I believe they will, that I think we can compete. I think we can finish. I think we can finish in a position that could make the community pretty happy. I'm not going to make any bold predictions and say we're going undefeated or that but I know there will be battles every night, and I know there's some really good teams out there. These teams bring some matchup problems for everybody. But I also think we can return that same thing with matchup problems because of our depth. I'd have to say Indiana and Fox Chapel, are teams that we feel like are really at the top. Hampton, Plum, as well. And then obviously us Mars, we're all going to be competitive with what happens. And if you don't watch yourself, Kiski can sneak up on you as well. They've got some good experience coming back.
Well, there's the saying, steel sharpens steel, and every night in the section, it's going to be a dogfight. How much are you looking forward to that? I know you're a pretty competitive guy. How much are you looking forward to that, where there's no, cupcakes on the section schedule?
I like it. I like it. Last year I felt like, there were teams that were better than us basketball wise. And I felt like our girls really rose to the challenge when we challenged them as coaches. And this year, again, as I mentioned earlier, people aren't going to expect us to not be good. People are going to expect us to be better. They know what we have coming back. They know what we have coming in as our incoming freshmen. So I think teams are really going to focus on what we do. But, if you're not up for that kind of a challenge, as a coach and as a group of players, then you should probably just go play backyard bocce or something. If you're not up for the challenge, you're not a coach. And if you don't want to challenge your kids, then none of you should be doing what you're doing. So we really look forward to it. I talk with my assistants quite often, and we talk about the work that we have ahead of us. And we love the game, and we love what we do. And I can't wait for it to get started, because it is going to be a very challenging year. This is probably as many good teams from team 1 to team 6, in the section as balanced as it's been since I've been here as well.
Yeah, you mentioned your coaches. You guys have been together for a long time here. How much does that consistency help you guys right now in this time of, being unable to be in the gym?
It helps a lot. Just, people you trust, you trust them, you can lean on them, you can talk to them. It helps you make decisions for, what's coming next. Dylan is with his job. He's not around as much, but Coach Rick Burns has really stepped up, this past off season and a half, to really, implement himself. And then, Heather has done a nice job with the JV team, and she's been around like crazy. We did get the junior high season in, and, Heather was around every day for that. So we were, it's really a good thing to come in, because the unknown of what the season's going to bring, the one thing our kids know is that consistent coaching staff. They know what we're about. They know when we do get back, they know what to expect from us. And I think that helps them stay focused, and I think that helps them be comfortable coming in, because we're going to have some making up to do. There's teams that are practicing every day right now,
Mm-hmm.
And we're not. So we're going to have to close that gap quickly. And I think the consistency and everybody knowing that all the coaches are on the same page is very helpful to them.
All right, Coach. Well, this is a High Top Sports Network interview, not a newspaper interview. So we like to have a little fun here. You know us. And I got some rapid fire questions for you. So I'm just going to shoot. Favorite college or pro players of all time?
College player of all time has got to be Leitner. And favorite pro player, Jordan or Bird.
All right. What jersey number did you wear? I think I know this, but what jersey number did you wear and why?
22. It was a number that it was a number I just liked. My little league number was 2, and the craziness of all this is I thought what's better than 2 2s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you know what, my daughter made her travel team this year for the first time, and one of her, since she's a new player, I had to submit 3 jersey choices, and one of them is 22. So we'll see which one she gets. Her other ones are softball number 19, and finally I made her take the old man's number of 44 as her third choice.
Yeah, well, hey, everybody's got to wear that number at some point, right? I even think I wore that in like third grade YMCA. I think I got 44. I think that was my dad's number.
Well, I know you showed it the proper respect that it deserves.
Thank you. Yes, I did.
Okay, what's one hobby of yours that might surprise people to find out about you?
I probably wouldn't surprise people that golf is a huge hobby of mine. It probably doesn't surprise anybody. But this will I'm probably going to regret saying this to all of you, but I actually enjoy watching these Hallmark Christmas movies with my wife. So that
Oh
might
boy.
surprise some people.
That's on the record, Coach. Just want you to know that's on the record. And finally, Coach, what's the best part about being a coach at Armstrong?
The kids. I mean, my gosh, buying in these kids, in your hometown. It's getting to coach in your hometown is a gift. I've coached other places. I coached at Freeport, and not that that's far away, and even West Shamokin. When I coached a year out there, it was very rewarding to coach. But to get to coach, where I grew up, where I would have gone to high school, and I semi did when it was Armstrong Central, to get to do that every day with a group of kids who buy in to what you're doing is absolutely the most rewarding and best part. Knowing that it's just in your community and in a community where when I played basketball, we were changing coaches all the time.
Yeah.
And just to try to provide that consistency to a program and do that for the kids around here and coach, and you're getting to coach just kids you see every day. It's very rewarding, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to do it. And I can't say enough good things about what these kids do for us every day.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to Armstrong girls varsity basketball head coach Kirk Lorigan for joining me, Josh Shreckengost, here on High Top Sports Network. Coach, can't wait to see you out on the court, man.
Thanks. Can't wait to get there, and I can't wait to work with High Top Sports again this year. You guys are great. I know that that's your first year, but working with you in the fall with football and what you guys are providing for the school, we truly appreciate it. And can't wait to work with you guys all season long.
Hey, the feeling's mutual, Coach. Same here. You take care. We'll see you soon.
Hey, thanks a lot. We'll see you.